can we trust the taco? Because in my opinion, you can't. With this president just flip-flopping all over the place and being vague and obviously making shit up. When he says, I talked to this, or we have somebody really, a top guy that we're talking with in Iran. Oh, we agreed on 15 points, and then the Iranians come out and say, we didn't talk to anybody. Nobody talked to us. We didn't talk to anybody. There is no agreement. And the fact that the president delayed his threat to the end of the week when the market is closed, it tells me that there's something cooking here. There's a deception plan in progress. And they're waiting for the weekend after the market is done to launch whatever they're planning right now. And they think that by the time the market opens Monday of next week, the conflict will be resolved. So let's speculate. You read the headline right now, U.S. is expected to send thousands of more soldiers to the Middle East. Gee, why? If we have a peace deal, if we got a taco, and the Ayatollah called that the war is over. We don't need to spend $200 billion from the taxpayer money to fund the war. We don't need thousands of soldiers and servicemen be deployed in the Middle East. So we're all eyeing all of this situation here with a lot of skepticism. You can see that the market, you got a taco yesterday, taco again today. The market says, yeah, I'm not buying it. And the danger is the nature of the plan. And there's a lot of talk right now that the plan is going to be U.S. deployment to seize the island, not the Epstein Island, the Iranian oil island. The Epstein Island always going to be free. That's where they do their satanic rituals. But the Iranian oil island, they think we can capture that island and then use it as a leverage to say, Iran, you want it back? It is time to open the Strait of Hormuz and allow the flow of oil. Sounds good on paper, right? Sounds like a plan that might work out, but what are the dangers? Well, among them, of course, Iran responds by killing servicemen, U.S. Marines, troopers. And then what happens? It's called manufacturing consent. See, the American public right now is against the war. It was never really sold to us. We didn't vote for it. We didn't want it. We wanted a government that's going to make housing cheaper and reduce inflation, not increase it higher. It is the most unpopular war in American history. And every war that we got into before was at least initially supported by the public. There was a lot of brainwashing. You guys remember, some of you at least remember that. The Iraq War, lots of brainwashing. To the point where if you try to bring any objection or criticism to the Iraq War, you were called a traitor. And of course, everybody had to shut up if they had any criticism about the war, and the majority of the public was supportive of the war. Years later, disaster after disaster after disaster in Iraq. And by the way, Iraq right now in a civil war. So much for progress and liberation and freedom, all that crap. The war became unpopular. And to fix that in this war, you have to manufacture the consent. And if we get these troops in the oil island, seizing the island, and then the Iranians bomb the island, let's say hundreds, thousands of U.S. soldiers and servicemen die, what do you think the response is going to be among the U.S. public? The sentiment is going to shift. Now we're going to feel, oh, we're obligated to fight back. They killed our guys. We're now looking for revenge. We got to do ground troops in Iran and invade the country. Now you've manufactured consent by sacrificing whoever troopers and soldiers you dumped into the island. And there is a lot of talk, by the way, about, hey, Mav, is going to be a draft. Am I going to be dragged out and sent to Iran to go die for Epstein? And I would say we're inching closer to that, because today we got effective April 20th. U.S. Army is increasing the maximum enlistment age from 34 to 42 years and eliminating waiver requirements for single convictions or possessions of marijuana. So they want, you thought you're middle-aged now, you're going to relax, enjoy the family. They're going to drag your ass out. So this is step number one, increase the enlistment. Why would you do that if we don't have a war and we have a taco and a deal and the Ayatollah called? Doesn't sound that this is the case. Sounds that they're cooking for manufacturing consent for a ground invasion, and this is why they're increasing the enlistment age. At some point, if the war goes wrong, they're going to force everybody in. We're going to have a draft, especially if the market crashes, cryptos crash, the AI bubble crash, and all of these donkeys who think they're rich right now lose all of their money. They're going to drag them to war, to go die in Iran. Beautiful stuff, isn't it? I hope I'm wrong, by the way, but you got to be reasonable here. This is a really persuasive argument that I just gave to you. I think a lot of you are thinking